Immigration of Hmong people, a path of cultural adaptation and resilience. Greetings and welcome to Explore Voltex. Today we will talk about the immigration of Hmong. Although the Hmong people have a centuries-long intricate history, their immigration tale is one of hardship, resiliency, and cultural adaptation. The Hmong people, who originated in the mountainous regions of Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, and China, have encountered many difficulties as they have traveled to other parts of the world for better chances and sanctuary for themselves and their families. This article emphasizes their contributions to immigrants, significant turning points, difficulties, and contributions to their new nations. Background information and history. The language and cultural identity of the Hmong people are unique. They have traditionally resided in isolated, mountainous regions, mainly in Southeast Asia. However, many Hmong people were compelled to flee their native countries as a result of political upheaval and violence. The Vietnam War and its aftermath saw the greatest Hmong migratory boom. Immigration of Hmong people to the U.S. After the Vietnam War, the United States emerged as a popular destination for Hmong refugees. In what was called the Secret War in Laos, the Hmong were enlisted by the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA, to fight alongside American soldiers. Following the conflict, the communist government persecuted and retaliated against the Hmong, which caused a large-scale flight from Laos. Thousands of Hmong refugees came to the U.S. in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Their main places of settlement were Wisconsin, Minnesota, California, and other states. The Hmong faced difficulties during the time. However, they quickly adapted and formed to adjust to a new language, culture, and economic structure. However, they quickly adapted and formed thriving communities and ways of life. The Hmong immigrants faced many difficulties. Hmong immigrants face many difficulties when they are resettled. One major obstacle was language because most Hmong refugees did not understand English. As a result, it is challenging to integrate into American society, obtain employment, and get an education. To aid Hmong immigrants in succeeding, community organizations, educational institutions, and governmental bodies eventually offered language assistance and cultural orientation programs. They were preserving their cultural legacy while addressing another difficulty. B was important because the Hmong have a strong sense of community. It was essential to protect their customs and values. To protect their traditions for future generations, Hmong communities established events, cultural institutions, and organizations to honor their heritage, contributions, and cultural influence. The Hmong people have significantly impacted the nations in which they have been adopted. For instance, Hmong people have achieved success in the arts, commerce, law, medicine, and other disciplines in the United States. Their entrepreneurial drive has resulted in the creation of prosperous companies and the growth of the local economy. Furthermore, the Hmong culture has enhanced the diversity of their host nations. The Hmong have communicated their distinct This cultural interaction resulted in a natural history to the general public through colorful festivals, traditional music, and appreciation of the Hmong people, and their achievements have resulted from this cultural interaction. The experience of the Hmong emphasizes their difficulties, willpower, and flexibility in pursuing a better life. Notwithstanding their problems, the Hmong have created thriving communities and made essential contributions wherever they have lived. Their chosen countries are forever changed by their rich cultural legacy, which is still thriving. The tale of the Hmong immigrants inspires us and serves as a timely reminder of the value of promoting inclusivity and embracing variety in our dynamic global community. Immigration of Hmong people to France. In addition to the U.S., France has been a popular destination for Hmong immigrants. In search of sanctuary and a fresh start, many Hmong refugees migrated to France in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Their relocation was aided by the French government, which supplied housing, job help, and language instruction. France now has a substantial Hmong population, especially in major cities like Paris, Lyon, and Strasbourg. To protect their legacy and foster Hmong identity, the Hmong people in France have founded community centers, educational institutions, and cultural associations. Immigration of Hmong people to Canada. Over the years, Hmong immigrants have also been welcomed in Canada. Most Hmong migrants came to Canada in the late 1970s and early 1980s after the Vietnam War and Laotian conflicts. Communities of Hmong people live in British Columbia, Ontario, and Quebec, among other Canadian provinces. Like their counterparts in France and the United States, Hmong immigrants in Canada have established clubs and cultural groups to uphold their customs and provide mutual assistance. The rich cultural legacy of the Hmong includes a wide range of customs, rituals, and beliefs. Hmong traditional attire is still worn on important occasions and at cultural paths, and it is significantly distinguished by exquisite embroidery and vivid colors. Hmong New Year's celebrations are very important because they are an opportunity to pay tribute to their ancestors, present traditional dance and song performances, and participate in sports like top spinning and bullfighting. From generation to generation, it is essential to maintain the past and transfer information from one generation to the next. Legends, folk tales, and epic potods are recited at festivals and community events. Aiv Neeb, or shamanism, prioritizes education on Hmong spirituality and healing techniques. Many Hmong families have prioritized education in their efforts to give their kids better chances. Hmong students have advanced significantly in their schooling, and more of them are going on to pursue professional employment and further education. However, difficulties in schooling have remained, especially in the early years after resettlement. These difficulties include language obstacles and restricted access to resources. These issues have been addressed with the help of the community and multilingual education initiatives. Hmong communities all over the world are still actively fighting for their rights and acknowledgement, while also actively preserving their cultural legacy. Cultural gatherings like Hmong International Freedom Festivals unite Hmong people from various nations to commemorate their common heritage and foster intercultural dialogue. Hmong creatives have emerged as writers, filmmakers, and artists, showcasing Hmong lives and stories via their artistic talents. The work of Hmong advocacy groups has been essential in bringing attention to the history, culture, and difficulties of the Hmong population. These groups strive to preserve the Hmong language, empower the Hmong people, and address social concerns that impact their community. The experience of Hmong immigration is still ongoing, as Hmong people and families look for new possibilities and the challenges of cultural adaptation. The Hmong people have shown incredible resiliency in adversity, preserving their cultural identity while seizing the chance to contribute to their adopted nations. When confronted with hardship, the Hmong people experience significant resilience and grit in both individuals and groups. One major component of the Hmong immigration experience has been the process of cultural adaptation and integration. Families and people of Hmong descent have had to strike a balance between maintaining their cultural traditions and adjusting to the laws and customs of their new nations. The goal of Hmong immigrants has been to integrate into their new societies while embracing local culture and integrating their traditions, and values. Learning a language has been essential to the integration process. Hmong people born in adopted countries and belong to the second or third generation free, thanks to their language skills, acquire bilingualism, meaning they are fluent in both the Hmong and the language of their new nation. Thanks to their well-being skills, they can interact with people from different cultures through societal activities such as work, school, and community service. Well-being area resettlement, Hmong immigrants have experienced particular health and well-being challenges. Well-being and physical activity levels have changed due to the shift from rural agrarian lives to urban settings, which may affect health outcomes. Language hurdles and restricted access in response to these problems, truly competent healthcare have also made it difficult to get high-quality medical care. Healthcare providers and community organizations are specifically designed to meet the needs of the Hmong population in response to these problems. To address healthcare inequities and enhance health outcomes, culturally implemented care initiatives, interpreter services, and community education programs have been implemented. There may be differences in the degree of Hmong traditional practice and cultural identification among Hmong people born and raised in their adopted nations. The influences of the larger society coexist in a complicated way with the Hmong heritage of younger Hmong people. Although some people have strong ties to their cultural heritage, others can prefer a more blended identity. A significant concern for many Hmong families and community organizations continues to be the preservation of culture. Language courses, cultural camps, mentorship programs, and intergenerational events are ways that Hmong language, customs, and values are preserved for future feelings. These programs support the preservation of the Hmong cultural legacy and assist newer generations to feel more strongly identified as Hmong. Hmong immigrants have left a lasting impression on the countries they were adopted to, and their descendants have made essential contributions in various disciplines. Hmong people have made significant contributions to the fields of education, healthcare, and entrepreneurship, in addition to their success in the arts and culture, community leadership, and public service. Hmong artists are well known for their complex needlework, paintings, and sculptures, as well as for their traditional and modern works of art. Hmong artists and musicians have performed and presented their talents at regional and worldwide events, encouraging appreciation and understanding of different cultures. Hmong people have also actively participated in public service, holding positions as elected officials, social workers, educators, and advocates. Their contributions have aided in addressing community issues, forming policy, and promoting the rights of the Hmong people and other oppressed groups. Through international Hmong conferences, get-togethers, and cultural exchanges, Hmong people from many nations can exchange experiences and celebrate their shared heritage. These gatherings enhance immigrants' stories and communities, fostering a feeling of Hmong identity worldwide. Hmong immigrants' stories are replete with complex tales of tenacity, adjustment, and cultural preservation. Hmong people and families have experienced many obstacles during their original and subsequent establishment in new nations, but they have also made significant contributions to various professions. The Hmong diaspora's continuous journey shapes their cultural identity and fortifies their international community. The story of the Hmong immigration to Laos during the 1960s is a testament to the tenacity of a people who have embraced their history while building a bright future. They provided intelligence to the U.S. during the Vietnam War, kept an eye on communist forces using the Ho Chi Minh Trail in Laos, and assisted in the recovery of downed American airmen. Numerous thousands of Hmong rescue organizations resettled many of these families in Thailand. When the United States withdrew from the these families were resettled in the United States, especially Oregon in 1976, by rescue organizations. Approximately 4,500 Hmong people called the state home by December 1981, making it one of the biggest in the nation. Arriving in Portland and neighboring cities, Hmong migrants had little belongings. They were among the least educated minorities in the United States and spoke little English. The majority had a little bundle or two of possible home items. They initially relied on government aid and worked on farms whenever possible to make ends meet. School buses carried women and kids to Willamette Valley fields during harvest season, where they picked strawberries and cucumbers and sold their exquisite fabrics, made by hand, batik, counted cross-stitch and reverse applique to collectors. It was more difficult for the males who had served in the military to find employment. The Hmong established the Indo-Chinese Cull and Service Center in the 1980s, along with other Southeast Asian refugees. Ization was renamed the Immigrant and Refugee Committee Organization, IARCO. Along with a group of different agencies, IARCO assisted the recently arrived families in finding employment and becoming acclimated to American society and culture. Hmong men and women obtained employment in service and production industries as they improved their English and acquired skills. Businesses like Purdy Brushes discovered that the Hmong men in Laos who had crafted the paintbrushes, tools, homes, and weapons possessed the skills to make exquisite handcrafted paintbrushes. Many Oregon Hmong moved to California in the early 1981-1980, and some people relocated. Some people relocated to a state economic downturn with more excellent career and service prospects. Some people relocated to be nearer to their extended family. Only 600 Hmong people were living in the state in 1990. Though brief, the departure left about 3,600 Hmong in Oregon by 2013, most of whom resided in the Willamette Valley. Oregon reminds our elders of Laos, where the landscape is verdant and us, said Jennifer Quay, a community health worker who grew up in Portland. Younger Hmong like the fact that in Oregon, they are more integrated into the society at large than in states with larger Hmong communities. The Hmong have risen the socioeconomic ladder, thanks in part to their heritage of 2 or 3 generations coexisting. In addition to selling vegetable flowers at farmers, parents frequently assist in raising children while parents are at work. In 2010, Oregonians as a whole made $46.90 in household income, compared to $52,700 for Hmong households. Of Oregon Hmong adults 25 years and older, roughly 73% have completed high school and 11% have earned a bachelor's degree or more. The Hmong people in Oregon still follow a lot of customs. Hmong New Year is celebrated in late fall when people visit, young people court, and the community partakes in traditional food and music. Even though younger Hmong people need to be more competent in the language, they use it to connect with their elders. Nowadays, half of Oregon's Hmong identify as Christians. Hmong families historically resided in small villages together, linked by a common male ancestor, with each clan's elders serving as the leaders. The Cha clan is the largest of the 17 Hmong clans in Oregon, followed by the Li and Vang clans. Among leaders in Oregon include Bruce Bliatut Thao, a community leader and co-editor of Hmong National Development, Li Po Cha, a leader of the Asian Family Center and a key figure in the establishment and administration of IRCO, Chia Cha, the 2014 president of the Hmong American Community of Oregon, a Hmong community organization, Yer Tao, a pioneering print culture scholar and professor at Portland State University, and Chui Blong Cha, a member of the Cha clan.